This is the Jocko Underground podcast, number 132. Sitting here with Echo Charles, getting into some Q&A. What'd you call it?
Advice.
Lessons for the people? Advice for the people?
Sure. Yeah, advice.
Learning moments?
Learning moments. Advice
I
for
call
the
it
people.
Q&A.
Q&A, sure. But, I feel like advice for the people provides the depth that I think it deserves. Because Q&A is just, let me just ask this arbitrary kind of question and let me get an answer kind of thing. But I take this as kind of advice for me, too, most of the time.
You and me both.
See what I'm saying?
All right. Let's get into it.
First question. Hi, Jocko. I'm listening to Jocko Underground episode 38 and just finished the part where Jocko told the story about his son lying. Aside from getting a good laugh out of it, it also got me thinking more about properly disciplining children. My wife and I have our first child on the way, a girl, and I've certainly been thinking more. I really love the idea of forced PT as a form of punishment for children, administered for the proper transgressions, like lying, of course. My question to Jocko, had your son just refused to do the PT, what step would you have taken from there? My question to Jocko and Echo, what are your thoughts, observations on using forced PT as punishment? Would you employ it for your daughters? Does it really just depend on the kid? Other thoughts of disciplining children? I listen to the podcast a lot and certainly plan on leading my children using all the other tactics and strategies Jocko teaches without immediately resorting to punishment. But I need to be prepared in the event that disciplinary actions are just simply required.
Yeah, and hopefully that's very rare. And it was very rare for me with all my kids. Disciplinary actions was very rare. How is it with you?
Yeah, very
rare.
Almost.
And like that particular situation, my son was a little bit older. He was definitely understanding, know, and he kind of understood the whole. Because one thing that's really negative about that is you don't want to make physical exercise punishment.
Right.
That's not the way it's supposed to be. It's almost supposed to be it should be a reward. But let's face it, it sucks. You make someone do enough freaking burpees, it sucks. Doesn't matter how freaking happy you are and how much you love PT. Look, I would say 50% of the guys going through SEAL training love PT. And at one point, all of them hate it. There's some nights where like every single dude does not want to do anymore whatever they're doing to them. Yeah. So you can make anything suck if you do it long enough. But that's not it. For me, it wasn't the usual punishment. Like that was a kind of a one-off case where I was like, oh, you want to lie to your mom? And me, by the way. And I give you a chance. I give you an out. And actually, he accepted the out. He's like, yes, it was not true. I was like, cool, then you just need to pay now. But I would say it's not the best thing. I didn't normally do that. It wasn't normal punishment for me. I didn't usually use that for discipline. Here's one thing that they talk about in the military, which is a really good thing to think about. You don't think about it until you're in the military, but you have privileges. Now, think about the privileges that your kids have right now.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're already shaking your head, like nodding, like yes. Yeah. Your kids have nice clothes. They get dessert. They get cold water, warm showers, toothpaste. Like they don't have to pay for their food. And I know, how old's your boy?
7.
It'd be weird to tell your boy he had to pay for his food, right? But it's not totally. Like you could formulate a payment plan where it's like, oh, if you want this food, cool. Here's what you need to do to get the food. Yeah. Chores, all this stuff, all these, oh, you want, so there's certain privilege. So in Navy boot camp or an officer candidate school, like there's things that are privileges. Like being able to drink a soda is like a privilege. Being able to, I don't know, but there's like privileges. Like go in your room and shut the door before 10 o'clock. That's a privilege. So they have all these things that they make them privileges. And then there's like work detail. Oh, I can tell you, I did use a decent amount with my kids. If there was a punitive scenario was going on, yard work. Which is one of those things where it's like, oh, well, we got to do yard work anyways. But when you're doing yard work, like when the whole family's doing yard work and it takes an hour to get something done, cool. When one person is doing yard work and it's going to take them 5 hours, it sucks. It's different. Yeah. So when I ever said to my kids, get your work clothes on, like to one of them, they knew it was not cool. No. So what privileges, I remember I was having a funny conversation with my oldest daughter who had gotten in some trouble. But we were like, now we were just like talking through what happened. And she's like, and I was talking to her because I had taken her phone away. And because that's another thing, like your kids have screen time, they have phone, they have TV, they got all kinds of privileges. Yes, they do. So I was talking to my daughter and I was like, well, you can have your phone back, but that kind of stuff, you just can't do that. As otherwise, like, it'll be a lot more than your phone will get taken away. And she's like, what else could you take from me? I was like, well, I said, you have a bed, you have a mattress. And I forget what the final straw was. The final things I said was, I said, you have a door on your bedroom. I said, you have hair. And by this point, she was laughing, right? And the thing is she was laughing. And why was she laughing? Well, it's because what's more important than any of this punishment stuff that we're talking about is that you have a good relationship with your kids. And if you get the better relationship that you have with your kids, the less you have to worry about this kind of stuff. Trust, listen, respect, influence, and care. You need to give those things. You need to listen to your kids. When your kid's like, I don't want to do this, you need to go, okay. When your kid says, I want to go do this, you need to go, okay. Like, you need to trust them. If you give them trust, they'll give you trust. If you listen to them, they'll listen to you. If you treat them with respect, they'll treat you with respect. If you allow them to influence you, you'll have influence with them. And all these little stupid things that you care about, they don't matter, man. They don't matter. So, especially when they're, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. Jamie Cochran was telling a story the other day about she was in the orthodontist with her kid, and there was a mom there, and the other kid wanted to get like yellow and red braces. I guess you can get different colored braces. Yeah. And the mom was like, no, you're getting blue. And they were like in a fight about it. And like, that's just terrible. Imagine all the leadership capital that's blown. When your kid wants to have yellow and red, hey, it's cool. Oh, they're going to stand out. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Oh, your kid wants to wear this, t-shirt. You don't like it. Or doesn't want to wear a t-shirt, or doesn't want to, all these stupid things that we get all wrapped up around with our kids, when you can actually, especially when they're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can allow them to influence you. Because we want to impose our stuff on them, like naturally, of course, like just wear that t-shirt looks stupid with a Mickey Mouse on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we get mad about this kind of stuff. It's so dumb. Whereas if you're like, oh, hey, cool shirt. Or like, if you say, I don't really like that shirt, like, aren't you a little old for Mickey Mouse? I'm just randomly making stuff up, but aren't you a little old for Mickey Mouse? They're like, well, no, but I really like it. Oh, well, if you want to wear it, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Allow them to influence you. Yeah. And that's how you're going to move forward. One other good, well, not good. I had another disciplinary example, which was my son did something wrong. He was pretty young. And I took one of his toys and I brought it on the patio and I said, hey, listen, because you behaved that way, I have to exact and mete out some punishment here, which is going to be this toy. And I had a truck and I had a sledgehammer. and I smashed this little yellow truck. It wasn't even his favorite truck. It was like a random thing.
Doesn't matter.
Actually, I know it's traumatic. So I smashed this thing. But this is what this guy's asking: can you get in a situation with your kids where they need to be disciplined legitimately? Yes. I hope it doesn't happen. It happened very rarely with my kids. Honestly, I don't think my middle daughter. I don't think I ever punished her.
Yeah, that's good.
My oldest daughter. Look, you're always too hard on your oldest kid, and I was too hard on my oldest kid. My youngest daughter, I don't think she's got punishment. But guess what? Freaking good kids.
Yeah.
You know Hannah. I mean,
Hannah.
what would you want her to do different with her life?
No, man. All good.
Yeah. You're like, dude, she's good to go.
Dude.
With no punishments in her life.
Yeah.
Look, well, there's some little whatever, but I'm saying no, like, outstanding, hey, here's a punishment I had to exact on her for disobeying or whatever. No, none.
Yeah.
And even like my son, barely. Like, this is the time. I'm telling you the one I can remember. It's like, so I took this truck, smashed it.
Do you remember what he did? Are you at liberty to say?
He was young, so it was something stupid. What he probably did was backtalk his mom.
Oh, okay.
Probably backtalked his mom or something like that. Maybe some little lie, because lying is, that's bad, because that's a trust issue. But what would have been better is be like, hey, why didn't you tell me? Do you always be, it would have been better to talk through it. But it might have been something that was a little bit more extreme. Anyways, here's the point of this story. Never had to smash another one. I put one into the staging area. I put one into the staging area and said, hey, listen, if this happens again, this one's next. That is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to JockoUnderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's JockoUnderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@JockoUnderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.